want to talk about democracy now. Democracy is to most people or to most learners, democracy is actually one of the practical form of government they have actually seen around. Okay, because it's one practice in Nigeria and other notable countries around. But today we want to see democracy, how it is, the meaning. Want to see how democracy started, how it developed. Want to see factors that led to this democracy we now practice. And want to see the types, features, want to see conditions that make democracy necessary. And that's actually the last of it. So start, I want to know what democracy is. Democracy is a self-government. And as Abraham Lincoln put it, he said it's government for the people and by the people. So that's why it's self-government. It's a participatory government in which each citizen have equality of right to vote and also be voted for as far as you have reached the age of adulthood in the country. And Nigeria starts from 18. So from 18, every eligible adult ought to vote except limitation of voting. As we learn in franchise, we know what limits someone to vote in a democratic system. Democracy. Now we're going to bullet point 2. Democracy actually developed from ancient Greek. And the word democracy is actually coined from this Greek word, demokrata. Demo, that is half of this word. Demo means people, while krata means rule. That is why when we're talking about democracy, when we're talking about self-rule, people, or if we want to go, me and you, we, something like that. So in ancient Greek, this rule was practiced, but it was not made equal as in modern democracy. That's why we're going to know factors that led to modern democracy. So this is what I'm telling you about now, how democracy started. We're going to talk about the ancient democracy first. It started in Greek. In the olden days or in ancient time, the ancient Greek practiced this form of system, and it became necessary because of slavery, because of the massive slavery, so that people could come out and also do what? Vote. But at this particular time, democracy has limitations that have been abolished. This ancient type of democracy was practiced by a few, those wealthy ones, educated, like those under the theory of Aristotle and Plato, those men of fame. They are allowed to vote or to be voted for in this particular system. Wealthy people, monarchs, religious people, they were the ones that practiced. Women were exempted. Women were not allowed to practice the system, and slaves too. Even qualified male without dent who are sane. Before I go further, things that limit people to vote in a democratic system, before we talk about franchise, so that we get the picture. Example of such limitation: somebody that is insane. Do you know what I mean by insane? Somebody that is not normal, that is mad. Okay, that kind of person is not in the right state of mind. He cannot vote, and you cannot vote for a mad person to rule you. That is one limitation. These particular people in ancient Greek, they were not in this condition, but because they were slaves, they were not allowed. 2, criminals are not allowed to vote. Those ones behind bar, because they have seen as broken the law. So their freedom to do anything is held. So criminals do not vote. Number 3, people in a country who at some time people in the country, as at in ancient Greek, and let's say maybe some countries now, okay, let's put it that way, people in the country that hold debt, or at some point in time you saw the government or they fought the government rule and they are not even behind bars, they are not allowed to vote. Let's take this theory. This slave in ancient Greek did not default any of this rule, but still they are not allowed to vote because of their status as what? Slave. But it was practiced so. And the reason for taking this rule was because of extreme monarch system. As in the case of Alexandria and some other Greek ruler, because of extreme monarch torture, that's why they adopted it. But still, those slaves that came to Greeks were not allowed to practice. So that's briefly how democracy started. But in this case, it was not giving equality of right to everybody. Principle of law was not even upheld, but it came out like this. This is just a classic picture of democracy in ancient time. Then, in modern time, how does democracy, the one we now practice, how does it look like now? Let's see. Factors that led to this modern democracy. We have historic writing. Some of this historic writing, like that of the Greeks, how it started and how it favored them as to what they were experiencing prior to this democracy in monarch rule. They stimulate interest for an active democracy, and which led to modern democracy. We also have religion. Okay, religion also aided modern democracy. When these missionaries came over to Africa, apart from the colonial rule, their system of government also imparted knowledge of some of these Africans to look deep into their system of government and also bring art from it and put it into their government. That's why majority or some of those being colonized by these Westerners practice democracy, this system of government that give all humans. Because one thing preached by this missionary or this first Christian that came into this African country was equality of all humans. So with religion, democracy started coming. This modern democracy starts coming. We also have the American and French Revolution. The American come out because of the colonial rules that the British preach. They came out, both the French, from monarch rule. Okay, even Britain that were practicing monarch rule, they came out and said that this monarch rule is to the detriment of those being ruled, and we need to practice something that make every human equal, since all humans are equal, which is the main theme of democracy by Abraham Lincoln. Every mortal is equal because they have the same hand, the same leg, the same ability to talk, except by nature one loses those ability. That is when one will not be allowed to do what? Participate in it. That's why I say one limitation of democracy is insanity, when one does not have a good state of mind. It's not in a good state of mind. So this American and French preach this, that humans have liberty to participate in government, which started making feudalism, monarchy and military rule to go in erosion. That's why we see that military rule is no longer practiced. Feudalism has been long abolished, even though we still have communalism, but the effect is not as that of ancient time. Now, moving on to types. Now, democracy, it has type. We have the direct democracy and we have the indirect democracy. When talking about type of democracy, it talks about how the voting system will look like. The direct democracy, whereby people come out to do what? They vote for the candidates. Okay, every citizen of a country is allowed, as far you have age, as far you are normal, you are allowed to do what? Vote. You're not a criminal. Everybody allowed to vote in the country. No limitation hold you back. You vote in the country, everybody, and people are allowed to do what? Vote for you. But in this direct democracy, people are being selected from each aspect of the masses. They are being selected to represent people in voting. As we move forward, we have something called referendum. Okay, those are some of the platforms that indirect democracy take place, and it's not in all cases that indirect democracy comes in. Sometimes both of them can be used in the same government. For example, direct democracy can be used in the gubernatorial or the presidential election. Why? When you want to choose senators or let's say judges, they use the indirect by picking certain people from the society to come and vote for those people. So that's it for direct and indirect democracy. So democracy has two types. We have the direct and the indirect. Now moving on to the features of democracy. There are quite many. One of the features is that we have periodic election. In a democratic system of government, election have particular year. For example, in Nigeria, for 4 years, we have change of government. Reason for change of government is also change and style or method in which the country is being ruled by a particular group of people. So democracy has this as its main feature. Then 2, free and fair election in democracy. That's another feature. Okay, no one is coercing anybody to vote. That is how it ought to be. Okay. Then 3, there's equality. Remember, I'm talking about modern democracy, not ancient. In this modern democracy, women and there's no slave, because after the American and the French Revolution, slavery was being abolished. Okay, so everybody is allowed to do what? Vote. As far as you're not limited by those 3 factors I made mention of. Everybody do what? Vote. So there's equality of rights and also ambition of everybody. So for them to do what? Vote and be what? Voted for. We also have independent judiciary. The independence of the judiciary has more to do when it comes to election results. In a democratic system whereby there's issue of winner, or when there's issue of winner, maybe one thing or the other emanates as the voting comes in, the independence of the judiciary will make them to know who actually wins, because there's no favoritism, tribalism, as when we talk about independence of the judiciary. If